Hello everyone, welcome to EduBridge IAS. This is the second lecture of our modern history series, and today we are going to be covering the advent of Europeans. The topics that we'll be covering today include the age of discovery. Then we will look at the important discoveries that were made. Then we are going to look at the career of the Portuguese in India and their struggle against the Arabs in the 16th century. Further, we are going to study the impact of Portuguese rule in India. Finally, we are going to look at the arrival of other Europeans who came to India after the Portuguese. Specifically, we are going to see who came, where they arrived, and when did they arrive. Then we are going to look at the tripartite struggle between the Portuguese, Dutch, and British in the 17th century, and finally the Anglo-French rivalry of the 18th century. Right. So let us begin with the age of discovery. इंडिया और यूरोप के बीच में ट्रेड लिंक्स एंशिएंट पीरियड से एग्जिस्ट करते थे. Since the post-Mauryan period, Indo-Roman trade had been flourishing. There was huge demand for Indian spices, cotton, silk, perfume, ivory, etc. in Rome. ठीक है? This trade was carried out over the ancient Silk Route. Silk Route आप सबने सुना होगा. अभी आपको मैप पे भी दिखा दूंगा मैं. Which stretched from China to Rome and connected India to the Persian Gulf, Red Sea, North Africa, the Levant, that is the region of Israel, Lebanon, Syria, etc. Anatolia, that is modern day Asian Turkey, Europe, China and Indonesia. तो Silk Route India को इन सब जगहों से जोड़ता था. The Arabs acted as the interlocutors of maritime trade. यानी कि जो सी ट्रेड होता था इंडिया और यूरोप के बीच में, उसको फैसिलिटेट करने में अरब्स का बहुत बड़ा रोल होता था. अरब्स यूज्ड लार्ज शिप्स टू कंडक्ट दिस ट्रेड. इंडिया से दे यूज्ड टू टेक ऑल दीज गुड्स एंड दे यूज्ड टू कैरी इट अप टू द पर्शियन गल्फ एंड द रेड सी, और फिर वहां से थ्रू कैरावान्स इट वाज टेकन टू यूरोप. कॉन्स्टेंटिनोपल, that is modern day Istanbul, was the gateway for the land route. जो भी कॉन्स्टेंटिनोपल को कंट्रोल करता था वो सिल्क रूट को कंट्रोल करता था. It was also the capital of the Eastern Roman Empire or the Byzantine Empire. So after the decline of the Roman Empire in the 7th century, the Eastern Roman Empire with its capital at Istanbul at Constantinople had risen. अब इस मैप पे आप देख सकते हैं that this is the ancient Silk Route. So it joins China to Rome and connects India to the known world. उस समय जितना भी वर्ल्ड नोन था उसको इंडिया से कनेक्ट करता था. तो आप यहाँ पे देख सकते हैं that this is Constantinople. So both the sea as well as the land routes यहाँ पे जाकर के मिलते थे and रोम को बाकी के एशिया से कनेक्ट करते थे. Right. Now let us see what happened. In 1453, the 1,000-year-old Byzantine Empire was destroyed and Constantinople was conquered by the Ottoman Turks. So Ottomans ने 1453 में Constantinople को conquer कर लिया, and by the 16th century they conquered all of West Asia, including the ports on the Levantine coast, जो कि आप यहाँ पे देख सकते हैं, and the Persian Gulf and the Persian Gulf and Red Sea. So what was the result of this? Now they began heavily taxing the Indo-European trade. Therefore, the need was felt in Europe for discovering a new trade route to India and China. Because of this, it led to the age of discovery, also known as the age of exploration in Europe, during which a number of exploratory sea voyages were made and the new world was discovered. जब मैं new world बोलता हूँ, that means the world which was unknown earlier. That means the Americas. तो अमेरिका की discovery इसी age of discovery में हुई थी. Now let us move further and look at the other factors behind the age of discovery. यूरोप में middle ages, जो medieval period है, that was a dark age. The European society was inward looking and insular. They did not have much contact with the outside world. Now, with the coming of the Renaissance in the 14th century, the insularity of the Dark Ages ended in Europe. and Europe was gripped by the spirit of Renaissance, which was characterized by adventure and discovery. इसकी वजह से a number of adventurers started undertaking sea voyages to discover undiscovered land. Further, feudalism, जो कि यूरोप में डार्क एजेस यानी कि मिडिल एजेस का एक कैरेक्टरिस्टिक था, वो डिक्लाइन हो गया एंड उसको रिप्लेस किसने किया? स्ट्रॉन्ग सेंट्रलाइज्ड मोनार्कीज ने. They had both the willingness and the ability to expand trade. And trade को expand करने के लिए undiscovered world को discover करना जरूरी था. तो इसलिए age of discovery शुरू हुआ. Further, the fall of Byzantium was perceived as a great loss by the Christian world. तो fall of Constantinople को Christian world में perceive किया गया that it was a great victory for Islam and a great loss for Christianity. The powerful kings of Europe were eager to reclaim their lost glory by creating empires and spreading Christianity. And because of this, the quest for God, gold, and glory heralded the age of discovery in Europe. तो यहाँ पे 3 G's याद रखने हैं कि यूरोप में एज ऑफ डिस्कवरी कैसे शुरू हुई? Because of God, gold, and glory. What does God mean? The spreading of Christianity. Gold, the promise of profit, and glory to reconquer their lost glory by creating empires and spreading Christianity. During the age of discovery, the lead was taken by Portugal and Spain. They sponsored a number of exploratory missions. ठीक है? Let us move forward and look at the important discoveries which were made. 1487 में one person named Bartholomew Diaz, he was a Portuguese navigator who rounded the Cape of Good Hope and sailed up to Madagascar. So the Cape of Good Hope, that is the southernmost tip of South Africa, got its name because there was hope that this was finally going to reveal the new sea route to India and China. Next, in 1492, Christopher Columbus, while searching for the Indies, that is India, discovered the Caribbean islands. So he sailed west from Spain and reached the Caribbean islands. In 1498, Vasco da Gama became the first European to discover a new sea route to India. So he followed the path taken by Bartholomew Diaz, sailed up to Madagascar, and in Madagascar, he met either a person known as Abdul ibn Majid, who was an Arab navigator, or a Gujarati trader named Kanji Mallam, who took him to India. तो दो conflicting accounts हैं. पहले ये believe किया जाता था that it was Abdul ibn Majid who showed Vasco da Gama the way to India, and new discoveries point towards the role of Kanji Mallam, a Gujarati trader who brought Vasco da Gama to India. दोनों accounts valid हैं, and but most modern historians believe the second account, that it was actually Kanji Mallam, the Gujarati trader, who brought Vasco da Gama to India. ठीक है? अच्छा, moving forward, in 1501, Amerigo Vespucci, the Italian traveler, became the first European to set foot on American soil. He discovered Brazil, and the continents of North and South America received their name from his name. So Amerigo से America. And in 1519 to 1522, Ferdinand Magellan became the first person to circumnavigate the world. He started traveling towards the west from Spain, circumnavigated South America, and then crossed the Pacific Ocean, crossed the Straits of Malacca to the Cape of Good Hope, and finally to Europe back again. However, in 1521, he was killed near the, I believe it was Philippines, where he was killed in a battle. So, बाकी की voyage इसके जो साथी थे, उन्होंने complete करी थी. So, this is a map of the important discoveries made during the age of discovery. तो आप देख सकते हैं Portuguese missions, Spanish missions, and English missions भी यहाँ पे दिखाए हुए हैं. अच्छा, apart from the names that I have already mentioned, आप लोग एक दो नाम और याद रख सकते हैं. That is Captain Cook. He was an English captain who discovered Australia, and Tasman. He was a Dutch explorer who discovered Tasmania and New Zealand. ठीक है, so this is Tasmania and this is New Zealand. इसको किसने डिस्कवर किया? Dutch traveler named Tasman and Captain Cook from England discovered Australia. ठीक है, बाकी सारी इंफॉर्मेशन आपको स्लाइड्स में मिल जाएगी. Right. Now let us look at the Portuguese in India and their struggle against the Arabs. So in 1498, Vasco da Gama came to Calicut, that is modern day Kozhikode in Kerala, from Portugal via the Cape of Good Hope. ठीक है, यहाँ तक की कहानी सबको पता है. आगे सुनिए. He was cordially welcomed by the Zamorin. The Zamorin was the Hindu sovereign of Calicut, the Zamorin of Calicut, and permitted to trade in spices. He returned to Portugal with 3 shiploads of spices and made a huge profit. It is reported that he made a profit which was 60 times the value of the spices which he had brought. So actually a huge profit. And after this, the Portuguese started taking an active interest in Indian trade. अब इसके बाद प्रॉब्लम्स क्रिएट होनी शुरू होंगी. कैसे? देखो, इंडियन ओशन ट्रेड में एक टैसिट अंडरस्टैंडिंग थी कि किसी भी एक पावर की मोनोपोली नहीं होगी. इसमें चाइनीज भी पार्टिसिपेट करते थे, इंडियंस भी पार्टिसिपेट करते थे और अरब्स भी पार्टिसिपेट करते थे. However, the Portuguese wanted to create a Portuguese monopoly in the Indian Ocean by displacing the Arabs who had been dominating Indian Ocean trade for a very long time. This brought them in conflict with the local Indian rulers as well as the Arabs. Clear है? अब देखो आगे क्या हुआ. In 1505, the Portuguese government had appointed a governor named Francisco de Almeida. This newly appointed Portuguese governor introduced the blue water policy. अब ये blue water policy क्या था? इसका vision ये था that it wanted to make the Portuguese the masters of the Indian Ocean. और ये कैसे achieve होना था? This was to be achieved by destroying Muslim trade by seizing Aden, Hormuz and Malacca. अभी मैं आपको मैप पे दिखाऊंगा. ठीक है? अच्छा. A major event which took place in this entire process was in 1509 with the Battle of Diu. The Portuguese navy, led by Almeida, decisively defeated the combined navies of the Sultans of Egypt and Gujarat and the Zamorin of Calicut. तो Indian local rulers और Arabs ने हाथ मिला लिए थे and they wanted to defeat the Portuguese. लेकिन हुआ क्या? That the Portuguese decisively defeated their navies and completely destroyed them. This established Portuguese power in India. However, his successor, Almeida's successor, Alfonso de Albuquerque, is considered to be the real founder of Portuguese power in the East. Why? Because he secured the strategic control of the Indian Ocean by establishing Portuguese naval bases on all the important choke points, that is Aden, Hormuz, Malacca, and in East Africa, Mombasa, Zanzibar, and Mozambique, and on India's western coast, including Cochin, which was the first Portuguese fort in India, along with Cananore and Anjidev. Cananore is in Kerala, modern day Kannur, and Anjidev is in Karnataka, near Kharwar, I believe. So these are all important ports which were fortified by the Portuguese. Further, in 1510, Albuquerque conquered Goa. Goa was being ruled by the Adil Shahi dynasty of Bijapur. तो उनको हरा करके इसने Goa capture कर लिया. And by the 1530s, the Portuguese had also conquered Daman and Diu. ठीक है? And in this manner, the base of the Portuguese Indian Empire was laid. तो आप ये मैप पे देख सकते हैं. मैं आपको एक एक करके दिखाऊंगा कि इंपॉर्टेंट चोक पॉइंट्स कौन कौन से हैं इंडियन ओशन में. एक तो ये है, दिस इज द बाब अल मंदेब स्ट्रेट एंड इसको उस समय बोला जाता था एडन. यहाँ पे गल्फ ऑफ एडन है, राइट. देन यहाँ पे पर्शियन गल्फ में अगर आप आए तो दिस इज द स्ट्रेट ऑफ हॉर्मुज. देन इफ यू लुक ओवर हियर, मलेशियन पेनिनसुला और इंडोनेशिया के जावा के बीच में, this is the Straits of Malacca. Then here you will find Mombasa, यहाँ पे Zanzibar है, यहाँ पे Mozambique है. So all these were conquered and fortified by the Portuguese. Similarly, कोचीन को इन्होंने कैप्चर कर लिया, कन्नौर को कैप्चर कर लिया, then अंजीदीप को कैप्चर कर लिया. They also fortified Surat, and in this way the Portuguese monopoly over the Indian Ocean was created. ठीक है, अब आगे देखते हैं क्या क्या हुआ. The Portuguese were thus able to successfully displace the Arabs as the masters of the Indian Ocean. लेकिन इन्होंने क्या किया? Instead of directly conducting the trade between India and Europe, they introduced a system of passes and permits known as the Cartas system. This was introduced by Alfonso de Albuquerque. What was this? Under this system, in exchange for money, passes were issued to traders by the Portuguese. Traders were not allowed to conduct any maritime trade without these passes. And at any point, the Portuguese authorities could ask the trader to furnish this cartas. अगर उनके पास नहीं होता था, तो all their goods would be seized and their ships would be sunk with all souls on board. तो इसका मतलब ये एक मुंबई के डॉन की तरह थे और हफ्ता वसूली करते थे, right? Thus the Portuguese acted as self-appointed constables of the Indian Ocean. Now let us look at the impact of Portuguese in India. सबसे पहले तो देखो, they brought Christianity to India. The spread of Christianity in India began with the arrival of the Portuguese. Saint Francis Xavier led an evangelical mission to India with the purpose of spreading Christianity. The Portuguese also built beautiful churches and forts on the western coast, including the churches and convents of Goa, which is now listed as a UNESCO World Heritage Site. तो आप लोगों ने सुना होगा बसेलिका ऑफ बॉम जीसस एटसेट्रा. तो ये सारी चीजें इन्होंने नहीं बनाई थी. The blending of Portuguese culture with local culture also gave birth to the distinct Goan culture with its distinct practices, festivals, cuisine, attire, etc. Many of the Portuguese sailors who had come to India stayed back and married local women, and they laid down their roots in India. तो ये यहीं पे आकर के बस गए. They considered India to be their homeland rather than Portugal. The Portuguese also made a significant impact on Indian agriculture. कैसे? By introducing new crops such as cashew nuts, improved variety of mango, papaya, pineapple, tobacco, chili peppers, kidney beans, rajma जो होता है, potato, tomato, ground nuts, कॉर्न एंड गुआवा. ये सारी चीजें ये कहां से लेकर के आए थे? साउथ एंड सेंट्रल अमेरिका से इन्होंने ये चीजें इंडिया में इंट्रोड्यूस करी. अच्छा, ये तो इनके पॉजिटिव इफेक्ट्स हो गए, लेकिन कुछ नेगेटिव इम्पैक्ट्स भी थे. देखो, they opened the gateway for European trade and conquest in Asia. So they were the pioneers of European trade and conquest in Asia. They also introduced the concept of armed trade in the Indian Ocean. इसके पहले इंडिया में जो भी ट्रेड होती थी, that was unarmed trade. वहां उसमें कोई जो ट्रेडिंग शिप्स थे, उसमें कोई नेवी के पर्सनल नहीं होते थे और कोई गन्स नहीं होती थी. लेकिन since the very beginning, European trade in the Indian Ocean was an armed trade, and this was the precursor to military conquest and domination of India and Asia. So these were the major impacts of the Portuguese on India. Right. अब हम देखेंगे कि what was the order of the arrival of Europeans in India. कौन कौन आया, कहां पर आया और कब आए. First to arrive were Portuguese. Where did they arrive? In Calicut. When? In 1498. ठीक है, ये तो सबको पता है. Portuguese के बाद कौन आए? The Dutch from Holland. कहां पे आए? सूरत. कब आए? In 1604. After that, the British also in Surat in 1608, followed by the Danes, who also came to Surat in 1618, and finally the French, who also came to Surat in 1667. So first to arrive were the Portuguese, and the last to arrive were the French. First to leave India were also the French. ये याद रखिएगा, ये ऑर्डर याद रखिएगा, यहाँ से आपको एक क्वेश्चन बन सकता है. राइट. मूविंग फॉरवर्ड, अच्छा अब देखो ट्राईपार्टाइट स्ट्रगल इन दी 17th सेंचुरी। हमने 16th सेंचुरी में अरब एंड पोर्चुगीज स्ट्रगल तो देख लिया, लेकिन 17th सेंचुरी में some other European powers had also gotten involved. So let us look at this. During the 17th century, the Portuguese, Dutch and British clashed with each other for control of the Arabian Sea and India's western coast. By the end of the 16th century, Portuguese power in the Indian Ocean had started declining. They faced stiff competition from the Dutch, who were the first to establish a joint stock trading company to trade with India in 1602 and also the British. तो इनको डच और ब्रिटिश से stiff competition face करना पड़ रहा था. Further, they were also facing some problems with the Indian rulers, notably the Mughals. Right? आगे देखिए, in 1596, the Portuguese were ousted from Southeast Asia by the Dutch. In 1631-32, Qasim Khan, the Mughal governor of Bengal under Shah Jahan, subdued the Portuguese who had been using Hooghly as a base for piracy. So after being ousted from Southeast Asia, Portuguese trade had declined and they had started resorting to piracy. इन्होंने अपना base of operations बनाया था Hooghly in Bengal. And finally they were subdued by Qasim Khan. Who was he? The Mughal governor of Bengal during the reign of Shah Jahan. When? In 1631-32. Acha. Then they entered into an alliance with the British. How? In 1662, the British Prince Charles married the Portuguese Princess Catherine of Braganza and the British received Bombay as a wedding gift. तो बॉम्बे को पोर्चुगीज ने दे दिया ब्रिटिश को as a wedding gift. The very next year, in 1663, the Portuguese settlements on the Malabar coast were captured by the Dutch. ठीक है, तो डच ने Portuguese settlements को which was on the Malabar coast सबको capture कर लिया. And in Cochin, they built the Fort Williams. After this, Cochin became a Dutch settlement, which it remained for almost 150 years till 1814 when it was overtaken by the British. Acha, in 1667-68, the British Crown gave Bombay to the English East India Company on a lease. तो British Crown ने Bombay को English East India Company के हाथों में दे दिया on a lease of 10 pounds per annum. Along with this, the company also got the responsibility of safeguarding the Portuguese possessions and settlements and trade in India. तो ये responsibility भी company के हाथों में चली गई. अच्छा, now बचा कौन? अब बचे Dutch. Dutch were always more interested in the spice trade of Indonesia. So most of the spice trade in the Indian Ocean originated from Indonesia. In 1667, the Dutch and the British reached an agreement. तो इनके बीच में एक compromise हुआ. क्या compromise हुआ? कि दोनों ने agree किया कि हॉलैंड इंडोनेशिया को कंट्रोल करेगा और ब्रिटेन इंडिया को कंट्रोल करेगा और ये एक दूसरे के ट्रेड में और रूल में इंटरफियर नहीं करेंगे. They agreed that the British would remain out of Indonesia and the Dutch would remain out of India. लेकिन कहानी यहाँ पे खत्म नहीं होती है. In 1759, the Dutch were invited by Mir Jafar. आगे आप पढ़ेंगे that he was the Nawab of Bengal who had played a role in the conspiracy to overthrow Siraj-ud-Daulah with Robert Clive. Right? This fellow, Mir Jafar, invited the Dutch East India Company to attack the English East India Company. यहाँ पे हुआ क्या? The Dutch were decisively defeated in the Battle of Chinsura, also known as the Battle of Bedara. And इसके बाद इन्होंने इंडिया में अपनी सारी फैक्ट्रीज को बेच दिया, including their factories at Patna and Chinsura. किसको बेचा? To the British. So this was the outcome of the tripartite struggle of the 17th century. Who emerged victorious? The British. लेकिन यहाँ पे भी यूरोपियन स्ट्रगल इन इंडिया खत्म नहीं होता है. The British had yet another European contender for power, and this was the French. And इनकी rivalry 18th century में play out होती है. The 18th century witnessed a bitter conflict between the British and French for control over the Bay of Bengal. The main point of contention was मद्रास। ठीक है, तो सारी लड़ाई मद्रास के लिए हो रही थी। Why? Because both the powers realized that without controlling Madras, you could not control the trade of Bay of Bengal. And they fought 3 wars between the 1740s and 1760s, known as the Anglo-French Wars or the Carnatic Wars. So यहाँ पे कर्नाटिक को कर्नाटका से कंफ्यूज मत कीजिएगा. The word Carnatic was used to define the eastern coast of India and its hinterland by the British and French. तो ये जो रीजन है इसको कर्नाटिक बोला जाता था. तो the northern Circus as well as the Coromandel coast, ये इसके कंट्रोल के लिए ये स्ट्रगल चल रहा था. अच्छा, what is important to remember over here that this was the first instance in which European powers used Indian proxies to fight each other by getting involved in native politics. So second Anglo-French war में they used the wars of succession in Hyderabad and Carnatic in order to settle their own conflicts. अच्छा, फाइनली देखो हुआ क्या. इन द थर्ड एंग्लो फ्रेंच वॉर द फ्रेंच वर डिफीटेड बाय द ब्रिटिश. द मोस्ट डिसाइसिव बैटल वाज फॉट इन 1760, known as the Battle of Wandiwash. And after this battle, the war in India ended. लेकिन the third Anglo-French war was being fought in the backdrop of the 7 Years' War, which was taking place in Europe and America. तो hostilities अभी भी सीज नहीं हुई थी. ये कब बंद हुई? In 1763, when the British and the French signed the Treaty of Paris. तो इस ट्रीटी में इंडियन टेरिटरीज का भी सोल्यूशन निकाला गया. It was decided that Madras would be under British control. तो ब्रिटिश को मद्रास मिल गया, which they wanted. Pondicherry, which was being used by the French as their headquarters in India, would remain under the French control. तो फ्रेंच कंट्रोल पौंडीचेरी पे रहेगा. लेकिन द फ्रेंच वुड नॉट बी अलाउड टू फोर्टिफाई पौंडीचेरी. तो यहाँ पे अपने ये नेवल इंस्टॉलेशंस और फोर्ट्स नहीं बना सकते हैं. दैट मींस द फ्रेंच वर रेंडर्ड टूथलेस आफ्टर दिस ट्रीटी ऑफ पेरिस, एंड दिस मार्क्ड द एंड ऑफ फ्रेंच पावर इन इंडिया एंड क्लियर्ड द वे फॉर द एस्टैब्लिशमेंट ऑफ द ब्रिटिश इंडियन एम्पायर. राइट. अब ये जो 18th सेंचुरी की एंग्लो फ्रेंच राइवलरी है, which includes 3 Carnatic wars, हमें इसको और डिटेल में देखना पड़ेगा, लेकिन we are going to do that in our next class. तो अगली क्लास हमारी एंग्लो फ्रेंच वॉर्स पे ही होगी. So that is it for today, and thank you for watching this video. You can join our Telegram channel and follow us for regular updates.